So let's talk about story settings. We are in our dashboard again, and I will use this card to access the settings of our story. As you can see, we have lots of different sections here, and I will be explaining every section in detail. Let's start with general. The general section basically contains all the settings that we have decided on when creating the story. So our title, our language, and the dream type. If you want to change anything here, just go ahead, save it, and it is changed. Then next section, we have the credits. For example, you can add a different author to your story if you don't want to use your own username. For example, if you have collaborated with a few people, or you are actually a game studio, but your username is basically something else, then you can, for example, add the name of your game studio. Here you can add the credits that will show up in the game menu or in the story menu. You can add anything you want, for example, the assets that you selected for your story, your name, your collaborators, and so on. So normal settings. You can also use Markdown to make things look a little nicer. I think right now the only things that should work is bold and italic. And I think you can add dividers. I want to change this to actually have a Markdown editor, so you don't have to guess what's available. And yeah, you can basically just select from the editor instead. Okay, so let's close this. So next section, design. As you can see, there are a few different themes that you can select from. These define the look and feel of your story and basically define how the UI will be displayed. Right now you can select from a predefined set of themes. In the future you will be able to edit basically all settings that these themes define and create your own themes. Right now we have Daydream, Echo, Vision, and Nightmare. In the next subsection you can decide how to display your game menu. Here you have 4 different styles that you can select from and a little bit of a preview how this might look. You can also select an image and some menu music, and if you want to, you can use another image for the credits and maybe other music for the credits view as well. So next section contains asset packs. As you can see, you can't see anything because we didn't add any asset packs to our story. If we did, they would be showing up here. I will explain this in more detail in the asset packs video. Most interesting section here is the marketplace. This is how your story is displayed in the Talescape marketplace. So you can add a description, you can add a teaser, and you can add emotions that you want to target with your story. You can add multiple genres that your story is about. You can add topics. And right now, all of these are predefined. If you need more tags, please let me know. Also, last but not least, you can add a thumbnail for your story. You can add a header image and some screenshots. So the next section is basically about compliance. A few things that you must do before you publish your story is, for example, decide the age group that the story is targeted at. Then add any content warnings that are listed here if your story touches one of these topics. And if you chose to use AI for creating your story, you should add the respective flags here. The collaborator section is about adding, as you might have guessed, collaborators to your story. You can invite everyone that has selected to be invitable, basically that they are open for collaboration. You can give them different permissions for your story that are displayed here. Of course, you yourself, or me in this case, always have all permissions. And only the story owner can create releases or delete this story or archive it, for example. We have 2 sections remaining. One is export. If you want to, for any reason, export your current story, you can do this here. Please note that export is basically just an archive of your story with all texts, all images that are currently added to your story, so you always have a backup. This will take a little bit of time, and then you can download it right here. So the last section is basically maintenance. Right now you can just use this to delete your story or archive it when the story already has an active release and people have purchased it. And that's basically all there is to know right now about the story settings.